Welcome, everyone. Yeah, I'm here early. Excuse me. Got my tea. This is the only kind of tea that I really like. Not YouTube tea, really, but I guess this is what this is. I guess. I mean, I don't know. But anyway. Oh, I'm sorry, Irish fan. I hope you feel better. So it's good to see everybody. Like I said, I know it's an early one, but I'm still seeing a lot of familiar names in here, so that's good. And I'm grateful that you're here. Thank you. Yeah, I'm surprised that I'm even awake. I'm very surprised. I had a bit of a late night last night. Um, I met a nice girl, and we had a great time, and her name is, what the hell was her name? Doesn't matter. Anyway, we so I mean, yeah, I was up all night eating Mexican, and I'm starving. Anyway, so I'm glad everybody's here. We're gonna get into some stuff here because this is getting so irritating. It's the whole thing with and I wasn't even gonna name names, but this whole so before it was just Molly Golightly, right? As far as what was getting on my last nerve, but before it was just her, and now she seems to have teamed up with what's her face, Bullhorn Boob, whatever her name is, and they just continue to just clout chase and do it by harassing people. Now, the whole thing with like the laundries, I don't care. And yes, I know it's pronounced laundry. I get it. I like to say laundry. But the whole thing with the laundries, I kind of get that, but they weren't there to get justice or anything like that. They were there just to be the loudest YouTubers and clout chase, and that's it. Like if these people actually cared about getting justice, if these people actually cared about finding Summer, then they would actually allow law enforcement, the trained professionals, to do their jobs. And then there's all kinds of just it's getting insane. Hold on one second. Okay. So yeah, it's just getting insane. So there's this one dude, okay? I don't know him. He's a creator, whatever. According to a lot of other creators, he's a convicted felon, and he's buddying up with Don Wells and blah blah blah. And and the thing is I don't mind. I don't mind like saying that. Okay, I'm not saying whether Don Wells or Candace Bly had anything to do with their daughter's disappearance. I'm not saying that I think so or I don't think so. I'm saying I don't know. I'm saying I don't know because there's not nearly enough information to indicate that they did. So I'm going to assume that they didn't until there is enough information to think so. Is their behavior strange, erratic? Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'll give it to I'll give you that, you know, but because they're behaving so much, because they're behaving in the manner that they've been behaving, this is making for good content for YouTubers, and that's it. Panda, you got to figure out where you want to go, honey. You up here or not? Like, don't just look at me and wag your tail. Like, you can, okay, there you go. Anyway, I don't know. That's my whole thing, is I don't know. But neither do you. Neither do you. You don't know anything. Now, I'm going to go over some stuff here, okay? I'm going to go over some stuff here. So let's start. Let's backtrack a little bit to the Bullhorn lady, right? I'm not gonna. I mean, she's the only one that managed to be louder than Molly Golightly in front of the laundry house, and it's only because she had a bullhorn, right? So she gained herself some clout by doing that. Okay, you know, from one YouTuber from one YouTuber to another, good for you, whatever. But this whole thing, then she gains some clout because the news source, The Sun, gives her a nod, and not even really a positive one, but she goes in there basically secretly recording. Y'all know how I feel about that. Secretly recording people, which is also right there, just a red flag. And so let me just play this little clip here.
Hey guys, we're giving away a ton of these free samples today. Just take our quick 2-minute survey and
but it's a quick
send it right to your door.
if it ever comes through. She is walking into the Mary Piglet, which is the restaurant. Brian Laundrie supposedly had an argument, which later the manager says. Later the manager says there was no argument. So this is a complete dead end, but yet for some reason there's clout that is gained from this. Because all you got to do is walk into some place with a cell phone, a public place with a cell phone, and film people.
And I'm sure I talked to somebody here last night. We ate dinner here, and I know you guys have been inundated with media. We are not media. Yes. Okay, I just want to make sure that you're clear on that. Can you tell me? I'm assuming it was you that was here the night that she was here.
I was here. I was in the other restaurant, but I interacted with them a little bit.
Okay. Can you tell me, this? We ate here, you know, we heard that the food was bad. We ate here last night. The food was good. Do you believe that that it was over money more so than the food?
Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to talk about this. That comes from upper management. We talked
Dead
to the
end.
FBI, gave them our whole story. We gave them the emoji report.
Dead end.
By the time they came back to us, our security footage had already deleted itself. It's only 2 weeks. So, unfortunately, it's not, if I could, I'd be more than happy to help you guys out, but unfortunately, that comes from our owner.
Let me ask, I have another question that maybe you can't answer.
Did they actually leave without paying? Go outside?
No comment, guys. I really can't talk about it. I'm so sorry.
Because they're not, you know, like I said, I'm friends with the family, and they're not getting.
Are you,
a lot
though?
of information.
Is she actually friends with the family?
We could to the FBI.
Yeah, I know that's the problem.
Because-
They're not talking to
Yeah, unfortunately, our owner doesn't want us talking about it anymore. I'm so sorry I can't help you guys out.
Just the FBI or the Grand Teton sheriffs too? Or just
I believe both of them, but I know for sure the FBI. Again, I was at the other restaurant, so I wasn't here for like a whole fiasco. I interacted with them briefly towards the end, but she was the one that talked to them.
because there's a lot of people online speculation like they had a argument in here, an argument out there, crying on the sidewalk, he's coming back in, ballistic on your staff.
Again, no comment, guys. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Hey guys, we're giving away a ton
Alright,
of these
so-
free samples today. Just take our quick
So basically, that was a big fat no comment, right? And which is what you're going to get every time. That's what you're going to get every time. This is what happens. It's hey, you know what? If you hear anything, call the FBI. Well, in the Gabby Petito case, call the FBI. And in the Summer Wells case, if you hear anything, call the TBI. That's all you're going to get. You're not going to get any information from law enforcement because law enforcement has made it clear, specifically in the Summer Wells case, to not muddy the waters. Don't rock any boats. Just if you hear anything, report it. That's it. They're not asking you to go knock on anybody's door. They're not asking you to go shake any trees. They're not asking you to do anything like that. They're asking you, if you hear anything, let us know, right? Which is perfectly, which you call 1-800-TBI-FIND. That is the go-to number. And let's see, Jessica Neff is saying the protesters paid to fly all over to interrogate the manager at Mary Piglet's. Wow. I mean, I didn't hear about that. I don't know. But I mean, so at one point, Don Wells calls into the Molly Golightly channel. I went over that, and he basically he's intoxicated. Candace is in the background yelling obscenities. You know what I'm saying? I gotta say, I'm not mad at her for it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't blame somebody for being emotional in a situation like this. And then, I'm hearing, I don't know the details of this, but I've heard that because they've been very active on social media. Don Wells has, Candace has, and Don more than Candace. But Don, from what I understand, these two have somehow engaged in like playing pranks on YouTubers. I don't know which YouTubers. I don't know the details of this, but if this is true, like, hey, if you're watching, Don, Candace, good for you. Good for you. Because what are they supposed to do? Right? There's no information. Let me explain it like this. There's no information that indicates guilt on their end of anything that's happened to Summer yet. There's nothing yet. Nothing made public anyway. Maybe law enforcement knows something, but there's been nothing made public on this. So what happens when I get tired of being trolled? I troll back. So good for them. Good for them. I actually think that's it's unprecedented in cases like this. So it makes me laugh. Totally makes me laugh. Playing pranks on YouTubers that are harassing a missing child's family for clout. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I love it. I think it's hilarious. And if these YouTubers are trying to play victim or something and make them out to be worse than what they are, then you know what I mean? Like, it just shows how clueless they are. So now there's this other YouTuber. I don't know much about him. Apparently this is like I was saying before, the social media around this is making this more and more as much of a circus as the Watts case. The only difference here is with the Watts case, we got closure. So it's not exactly the same thing. People stirring things up and going nuts over the Watts case to this day makes no sense because we got the closure. The closure's there. It happened. Chris Watts is locked up. He's gone. It's over. But but this, it's simply a case of there's no way that in terrain such as what Rogersville contains, that somebody who carries a Louis Vuitton purse and lives in, I don't know, it sounds like a New York accent. I'm assuming it's something to that effect, is going to even be able to remotely come up with anything that is that contributes to helping finding Summer. There is just no way. It hasn't happened yet, right? What we saw on Molly Golightly's channel when Don Wells called in, when Candace was yelling back, was just a pure shit show. That's all it was. It was drama, because these are people who don't understand how any of this really works. They don't get it. And there are people banging down their door, figuratively speaking, calling them up, contacting them, talk to us. And, I mean, and they're not used to that. They don't know how to handle that. They're just regular people. They're just regular people, regular rural people that there's no way that Molly Golightly is going to ever begin to be able to relate to on any level whatsoever. This is the only thing, and this is really ironic, the only thing that Molly Golightly has in common with Don Wells is that they have both made asses of themselves under the influence of alcohol and God knows what else publicly. Now, I have too. I'm not throwing stones at them for that. I'm just saying that's the only thing they have in common. And yet what's funny is the only person that's throwing any judgment is Molly Golightly. Out of the two of them, the only one that's throwing judgment is Molly Golightly at them. Because she has no way of even beginning to relate to them. And yet she has them on there. She's trying to trick them into saying something and tripping them up in some weird way. And she's not good at it. And I mean, the next thing you know, she's in this police station. She travels all the way to Rogersville, and she's in this police station talking to cops and secretly recording them, by the way. And I know it's secret because we're going to go over that, and I'm going to explain why. And it's going to be a big nothing that she gets out of it. A big fat nothing. So here she is in the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department. And she's see recording these law enforcement officers charged with the responsibility of locating Summer Wells. The best chance that Summer Wells has, she's in here potentially interfering with an ongoing investigation. Because your phone lowered down, filming like that.
We can do that.
If she had permission to film in there.
Go to our dispatch center, and that is down here. I can get you the address. It's on each picture. And that'll be, that's everything that calls into 911 or a non-emergency line is all recorded down there. And they can print like cards and all that down there.
Okay.
But we can do what was actually filed.
Okay. And, we are just, also, if possible, we have a few questions, obviously with Summer Wells, we're here to help.
Trying to find her, trying to find any information, searching, we love the law enforcement, we respect you guys 100%. We're also trying to find her too. It's been 6 months, and still no answers, and still, I don't know if you guys have a person of interest or suspects, but, still, she's not found.
And we want to find out who's the lead entity handling this investigation and who's the lead investigator on that case as well.
I can get you the records real quick, and then your other answers. I'm not the lead detective on that. I'm just.
All right, let me address this because I saw this coming.
So that's why she wasn't sure exactly who you were.
Let me address this comment real quick. So, Sandy Jersey girl, welcome by the way. They were aware they were recording. Well, I mean, if I had content like that, I'd be filming it a lot better. Like a lot better. I wouldn't have it pointed at my Louis Vuitton purse and at the floor. So you're not going to sit here and convince me that that's the case, because either that or she's drunk in the sheriff's office. I mean, one of the two. That's all I'm saying. You're not going to, if I have the opportunity to interview these law enforcement officers, if I traveled all the way from wherever she lives to here where I live and had a chance to actually talk to these fine law enforcement officers, bless their hearts for what they're doing, and talk to them and get information on their investigation, and I had permission to do it, well, guess what? I would be trying to make this, and I'm doing it for content. I would be doing a lot better job with my camera. I would be pointing it straight. I mean, camera on her when she's doing live streams, it's pointed straight, isn't it? It's not pointed at the floor. Is it? So don't tell me that she had permission. I don't want to hear that.
All that. So let me just go see, names.
It's sitting in her lap. The phone is sitting in her lap.
And also, we also would like to know if the FBI is involved in this investigation. I know the state police.
Look at this dude's face at these questions.
At least that's my understanding.
I'm actually assigned to totally in the different end of the county, but I'll get you somebody that
Yes,
can kind of
okay.
help you out with those.
I
I was just trying to kind of shuffle paperwork. See what you are. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So we're looking for the
FBI.
lead entity, who's leading this investigation, whether
The
FBI is
TBI.
involved in this, we
And they've
also
been very
need
public about it.
And contact information of the lead investigator in this case, because
The Tennessee Bureau of
anytime we
Investigation.
get any new information out, we want to make sure that gets in the proper hands.
It's a joint investigation by TBI and us. FBI has been involved.
Okay.
As far as if you have any information, 1-800-TBI fine.
What's the number?
Wait, let me write that
1-800
down.
TBI.
It's only been blasted since this started.
Find.
Let me write
Got it.
1-800 what?
Do you know if
TBI
there's gonna be
fine?
more searches, organized through you guys or the TBI and soon? Or have you guys already done that? I know you guys recently done that
Yeah.
because of the brush in the winter. You guys plan to do more?
Of course, we work every day on the case.
Yeah.
As far as any specific searches, I can't really comment on any specific, direction we're going.
Yeah, because I think one of the things that, we we do.
You know, Lori Murphy?
Bounce this off.
Lori Murphy,
I'm sure
I
you guys
couldn't
as
agree
well.
with you more.
I'm not
Let
trying
me
to-
address this comment real
Is it-
quick.
Maybe you can answer it this way. Is it difficult?
Let me address this comment. So Lori Murphy is saying it would be nice if all YouTubers could work together in finding missing people instead of ripping each other. I totally agree. And I bet you think that I'm just sitting up here ripping another YouTuber. In a way, I absolutely am. Absolutely. But the reason why I'm ripping these YouTubers is because I don't think they give a shit about finding Summer. Yeah, I said it. I do not think that they care in the slightest bit about finding Summer. Because if they cared about finding Summer, they would let the professionals who are trained to do the job of finding missing children. Simple. You can spread information. Sure. That's great. You can absolutely spread information. But if you really cared about finding Summer, you wouldn't be in there trying to get them to trip up and tell you something. You're in there just trying to get clout. There's nothing that these officers are saying right now that hasn't been said since August. There's nothing being said right now by them that hasn't been said since August. If you get any information, call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Period. We're not allowed to talk about an open investigation.
Say if you had cadaver dogs and, a cemetery, which has a lot of people in it.
Right.
How effective are cadaver dogs in that kind of environment?
You have to ask somebody that is an expert in cadaver dogs.
You can answer that, okay. Okay.
Another dead end. Big shocker there.
We're hoping the parents were cooperative, particularly the grandmother.
The grandmother and the mother.
Who's this guy?
If John Wells wasn't there, I just don't see how, and maybe you guys have already played this through.
You know what they're doing? What they're doing is stroking these guys, trying to warm them up, because what they're doing is they're not interested in any information as far as what's getting closer to finding Summer. They're not interested in that. What they're doing are stroking these guys nice and slow so they can ease into what about Don? What about Candace? They want to know about Don and Candace. They are gunning for Don and Candace. Period. That's it. They're not interested in anything else because they're convinced that Don and Candace, or Don or Candace, had something to do with Summer's disappearance, and they're trying to trip the law enforcement officers up into giving some sort of indication that they think they're suspects. And they fail, as you'll see.
Grandma, mom, with all that stuff, I can see, somebody coming in there and taking a child at night where they know they're laying in the bed. But with all this chaos going on, dogs, people moving
Here she
around
goes.
the house, how are you going to locate one person in a big house that's a mess and take them out? It just doesn't make sense. So,
Sure it does. Sure. Why doesn't that make sense? Let's explore that for a second. Let's explore this monumental theory. Okay. So it doesn't make sense that somebody could come in and find a child sleeping in a bed and take the child when everyone else is outside. And because the house is messy, you're not going to be able to locate a child in a messy house. That's just it. That doesn't make sense. How does that not make sense? How? I mean, like, let's hear that one more time, because maybe I'm misunderstanding the question.
I just don't see how, and maybe you guys have already played this through too, but with the dogs, 3 kids there, grandma, mom,
Who are outside.
Stuff, I can see, somebody coming in there and taking a child at night where they know they're laying in the bed. But with all this,
And she wasn't taken at night.
dogs,
So
people moving around.
The fact that she has no information on this case tells you that she does not care anything about finding Summer. She is here for clout. She is here because she thinks, oh, well, these people got on Molly Go Lightly's channel. They acted drunk, and this guy actually hit his wife on a live stream, but that must make them responsible for Summer's disappearance. Now, I don't like woman beaters, but just because you're a woman beater doesn't necessarily make you a child abductor or somebody who would do something to your own daughter. Not necessarily. It's not proof. It's not even necessarily an indication. See, Bobby Pin's in here with a big mouth. Like, so you're saying that I'm speculating. I'm the only one here with any facts. I'm the only one here with any facts. She's clearly speculating, talking about that Summer was taken at night. Everyone knows. Everyone knows Summer disappeared during the day. Everyone knows that. She was seen that day. There is a gap before the sun even goes down. There is a gap of broad daylight where Hunter was with Summer in the swimming hole. A witness was near Summer in a swimming hole, and then she's reported missing before the sun even goes down. So how did this even happen at night? Why doesn't she know that? If she cares about this case so much, why doesn't she know that? So it's okay, Bobby Pin, that you're in here cheerleading for Molly Go Lightly and this Bullhorn lady. That's great. But I mean, don't twist up what I'm saying here as speculation when I'm not speculating on anything. I'm the only one here not speculating. Clearly did no research on this case. Clearly did no research on this case. They're just like, boots on the ground. We're going to go to Rogersville and we're going to investigate. Well, you know, the first step in an investigation, even I know this, and I don't claim to be an investigator, and I don't act like I'm an investigator, but the first step in investigating is collecting facts. That's the first thing you do. That's the first thing that a person with common sense does.
Locate one person in a big house that's a mess and take them out. It just doesn't make sense. So, you know, it's just
Wow.
We've had some of the best dogs.
okay.
And the dog has
Yes, Deb.
$10 century things in their nose versus a couple million to a human being. So when a dog works, let's say you're in a kitchen, right? Cooking dinner. You're having chicken, you're having beans, you're having rolls, you're having potatoes. The dog can sense each one. Or we walk into the kitchen and we smell food.
Yeah.
You know. So that's how well.
Yeah, these two teaming up is a perfect example of judging someone by how many subscribers they have. Because I guarantee you that this person was like, this person has so many subscribers that if I link up with them and we go to Rogersville, Tennessee, and we investigate, well, guess what? I'm going to get some of their subscribers and they're going to get some of my subscribers. And we're just going to have a nice little deal here because it's pure clout. That's it. That is the only motive behind these people being here. This is not about finding Summer.
Adopted work. We've had some pretty good adopted work. Guys, we've had a whole lot going on.
Do you guys continue to get tips?
Sure, every day.
Probably most of them baseless though, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's what we find.
We get them here at the office, we get them through TBI, they've got several different outlets going through each deal.
so you know the case is circulating online, a lot of people speculation and stuff. These particular individuals, they're not from here. They're just up here trying to help, trying to, start,
Yeah, these
create buzz, kind of keep the name. We know
JB, yeah, these look at where I paused it. Look at this fantastic camera work that she, these people graciously gave her permission to film, right? And she traveled all that way, and this is the shot I'm getting. This is the shot I'm getting since she had this gracious permission from Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, right? So Jamie B is asking, do your subs really think she's getting info that nobody else has? I mean, probably, because they're not following the case either. These are drama channels. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Molly Golightly is a drama. It's a drama channel. They don't follow these crime cases. They don't. It's drama to them. That's it. It's like, oh my God, Don Wells acted drunk and he hit his wife. He must have done something to his daughter. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. That's not how crimes work. Exactly, Jessica Neff. Drama, not real crime. Dude, like I would be if I traveled an hour, which is what I would have to do, right? To go where they are right now. If I traveled 1 hour, right? You think that I would be like filming my lap if I had permission to? Come on, man.
that we were downtown in Rogersville today. Photos all
Look
over,
at this.
which is great. Every business has the photo up. People just want answers, and the people responsible held accountable.
We've had helicopters, aircraft, other aircraft. We've had,
No, you want the people who you did no research on. You want the people who you did no research on to be held accountable. That's what you're looking for. You're looking to be right about a completely and totally uneducated hunch.
search teams, I mean, people who are really top notch.
We've had hundreds of searchers.
Yeah, we've seen it.
Yeah, we
Yep,
see,
we've seen
we
them.
see you guys are very active here. I mean, we've been on, in other places where there was literally no activity, no flyers anywhere. It was like, for example, the double homicide in Moab, Utah. They literally had no
Exactly,
signs
Sherry
whatsoever,
Thomas. Exactly.
for public health or any information. It's sad because, at the end of the day, it's a 5-year-old child. So we're just.
There's not. a
Yeah,
way to
it is sad.
as a whole.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it.
Well, oh, absolutely.
And-
You guys seem
and
very.
This is the difference between somebody who's just ignorant and dumb, because I would just excuse somebody for being ignorant and dumb. But the fact that she says at the end of the day, this is about a 5-year-old child tells me that she acknowledges the fact that that is what it is. Yet all of her actions prove that that's not something that matters to her. All of these actions prove to me that that's not something that actually matters to her. So this goes from being ignorant and stupid to being an asshole. That's what this becomes.
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
no,
I
I
mean,
gotta
all
tell
of
you,
us
when we got here, we didn't know what to expect because we heard a lot of.
No kidding, you wouldn't know what to expect. You don't know what you're doing.
Everybody's been so pleasant, so lovely. You can tell that their heart's really in the right spot
Yeah.
here, and everybody here is still talking about it. What could
And that right there, folks, is called buttering up the officials of a county that they're proud to work in. So, oh my God, the people here, the community, it's so good because it implies that the community is so good because they keep it safe. So let's kiss their ass and and get ready for this next move.
Concerns me is, some of the people in and around, that Ben Hill or Creek Road, I hear that there was several people that did not even, know, about her. And so when I heard that, I was thinking, there was just silent, when we came here and started seeing all these posters everywhere, it really changed our perspective, I gotta say. And, we're really thankful. They're even in the city police, and, at the court, or administrative, place of, I don't know where we were just at, I think the administrative
The
building.
historic courthouse.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah, City Hall and everything, but a lot of them prefer to sit here because they said that's just down, and where their home is like 30 miles away or whatever. It's been real. I mean, the property's 11 acres, and it's on that bend and creek, and I wish you guys had some sort of probable cause.
I know that, and I'm sure since you wrote that, you saw the terrain and mountains and how we just absolutely, I mean, it's one thing to be at the road and looking that direction, but to actually be, I mean, some of that stuff like straight up and down.
Do you guys watch him when he goes on podcasts? I mean, they talk, man.
Yeah, they.
Okay.
I mean,
I love this right here. Do you guys watch Don and Candace when they go on podcasts? Because I mean, they talk. They talk, man. Like, dude, you don't think that these professional investigators are watching every single move? They have made it abundantly clear. Everyone is a suspect. Everyone. There's no actual person of interest just yet, because everyone is a suspect. So you don't think that these professional law enforcement investigators, keyword investigators, are watching every single thing that this dude posts on Facebook, every single conversation he has on a YouTube channel? Like this guy's gonna go, wait, you didn't see this? Let me be the guy to show you what Don Wells did. Come on, man.
let me put it this way. You guys should listen to him talk on his podcast on a daily basis.
It was,
Because he
I was
says
the channel. I was the channel that.
You don't think they're monitoring that every time?
They reveal things like things, man. Hopefully you guys can get some sort of.
No, they don't. Why don't you tell them what they
He
reveal?
called me and jumped on my
Oh, here-
YouTube channel.
Here comes my favorite. Here comes my favorite. You guys ready for this now? But whoever this dude is, saying they reveal a lot of stuff. Because right now, let's just cut the bullshit right now. Let's just cut it right now. Okay? Right now, they're going in for the kill. They want to hear them say, we think Don did something to Summer. We think Candace did something to Summer. Right now, they're fishing for it. So this dude right here is going, they reveal a lot of stuff. Well, why, if they reveal a lot of stuff and you're monitoring this because you're such an investigator, right? You're boots on the ground in Rogersville right now. You're an investigator, whoever the hell you are. Well, wouldn't you have a list of indications or make a video, a compilation, since you're a creator? Something that says, hey, listen, this is stuff that you guys need to know about. First off, number one, on this date, Don said this, 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 and this. Number two, on this date, Don said this, this, and this. Number three, he said this about Candace. Number four, he said this about Summer. I mean, you don't think but he doesn't have any information himself. It's very revealing. It's very revealing. Moron.
And he was intoxicated, and so was Candace.
This
And
dude,
he
look at my man over
saw
here.
the video.
Look at my man back there.
He curses me out of.
He's totally on to
And
what's
so-
going on here. Look at him nod.
He called me and jumped on my YouTube channel, Molly Golightly, and he was intoxicated.
My
And
YouTube channel,
so
Molly Go
was-
Lightly, please subscribe.
And if you saw that particular video, he
And she's so shook it up.
curses me
Look.
out at first, and he apologizes, and then she's cursing me out, and then he hits her at the end, and he says, "I have 7 alibis, and she has none. She's going down." So if you saw or came across that video,
Now this is her. This is her basically telling the public that she doesn't know the difference between an alibi and a witness, right? So it's just funny to me. It's just funny to me. Now he does say this. Now he does say this, right? Well, I don't know if he ever like something really bad happened at the end of that video. And I can't really make it out, but you know, I mean, they've had domestic problems before. So I'm not saying that he didn't. I'm not saying that he did. At one point I did say that he did because I kind of assumed it. But that's just because I know that they've had domestic issues in the past, and it's y'all are killing me in this chat. Yeah, there's no way that these cops gave consent to be filmed. There's just no way. Yeah, so it's obvious that Don was intoxicated and he meant to say witnesses, and he says alibi. He says 7 alibis. And you know, if I'm sitting there and I'm explaining this to the officers, like, first of all, they already know that. They already watched it. They already saw it. Like, they already saw it. He got picked up for like a, you know, they know all of this stuff. These are professional investigators.
video,
Look at him nodding his head like, okay.
oh my God. And then he hit her.
You know, with him hitting her on, you know, on live, a lot of podcasts, you know, might be something that you guys can use to help you guys.
Now that's key right there. Now, since he hit her on a live podcast, isn't that something you can pick him up for? Isn't that something you can charge him with? That tells me right there that they're not looking for Summer. They're not interested in finding Summer. They don't care about Summer. What they're interested in is crucifying Don, period. Get him for whatever you can get him for, because they also have no idea how the justice system works. Now, there are cases. Marissa, I'm talking to you to educate you a little bit. There are cases in the past, boob lady, Bullhorn. There are cases in the past where they will pick up a suspect on something, but that's once they have enough evidence that they believe that they're going to get more evidence on, and they don't want that search for that evidence to be obstructed in any way, shape, or form. So they will pick them up and hold them on whatever they can while they collect that evidence. But picking them up on a domestic violence charge, I mean, he's going to get let go in maybe a few hours. Who knows? Right? Might do a couple days, might even do a month. But so far, it's been since August, people. It's been since August. Like, they're not, you know, you're sitting here and you're implying that it's some sort of criticism to these people who gave you the courtesy to talk to you, that they don't pick them up on whatever they can. Like they're doing some sort of injustice, right? Because if you knew anything about crime cases, you would understand this one simple fact that I discuss Every time I talk about these cases, every time there's a lack of an arrest made or an arrest made and a court case and a court trial is coming up. The cop's job is to collect evidence. It's not just to go out, flash a badge, put people in handcuffs and arrest them. That's not how it works. That's this part of their job. And that little part of their job is merely prelude to collecting enough evidence that can get them convicted in a court of law. Nothing else. Nothing else. There's no point in arresting somebody if you can't convict them. Because if you can't convict them, if you pick them up just to arrest them, well, guess what? And that could be proven. That's harassment. Can't use the law to just harass people and lock people up just because you suspect them on something. You don't arrest suspects until you have enough evidence that can be proven in a court of law beyond a reasonable doubt. That is all you can do. So no, these dudes are not going to just, go watch my channel, Molly Golightly, and he hits her. He hits her. And then assuming that they don't already know about this incident, you're criticizing them and how they're doing their job. So they give you the courtesy of talking to you and you insult them. You indirectly insult them in their building.
Domestic situation there. We deal with a lot of domestic situations. I mean, we were just down in Florida and a gal by the name of
Kathleen Moore.
Oh no, and I love this part too. This is my favorite.
He dumped her body right in back of his house in the swamp. Right there at home.
We just found her body yesterday, and we were out there, and of course we found Cleaver, and I don't know if it's associated with it. I'm waiting for Pasco County Sheriff to get back to me now. So, I mean, we are affected.
Florida.
Hershey. We have a collective team around the country.
Who's outside?
Tampa Bay area.
Tampa, oh yeah.
Tampa Bay area.
I love Venice.
Yeah, Venice is beautiful.
So after they indirectly insult them for apparently not doing their job, right? They're insulting them by saying that we solved a crime. In the Tampa Bay area, we solved a crime. It was because of us. Like, and this dude's sitting there looking at her like, are you serious right now? Like, are you serious right now?
I'm in the county below it.
Like, let's rub elbows as investigators. You're an investigator. I'm an investigator, right? Right? Isn't it?
We just want to try to keep their name in the spotlight. Somebody knows something. Pressure.
Now, is it a coincidence that dude walks into the shot? Is it a coincidence that this dude walks into the shot and she lowers her phone?
I'm in the county below it.
He's looking to see if she's filming. You see that? Watch that one more time. Watch that one more time. Right there. He's looking right at her and at her phone, and she lowers it.
Yeah. So what? So anything of Bill,
we just want to try to keep their name.
But she had their permission, right? Give me a break, dude. Come on.
Pressure on the parents you guys know the tactics. You guys,
They're not stupid. They're not stupid.
But you're indirectly calling them stupid, right, in their own office.
We, of course, like I said, it's a joint investigation between us and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Like I said, FBI has been with us from the start. Also,
yeah, she clearly got spooked that he saw the phone, and she's lowered it.
Every day, working on it.
Thank you. Okay.
But yeah, we appreciate you guys.
Oh, so I mean, it doesn't bother you guys that like outsiders come up here and just trying to find her or trying to find
Any information, you know,
If you find out anything at all, like I said, the TV, when
TBI.
they go to TBI, that goes directly to, the TBI. They immediately, give the information out to the agents up here who immediately turn around and call us. I mean, it's just, you know, of course, people can call here at our office, but in this particular case, that when they do TBI find it's just a central, you know, they automatically, it's.
Yeah, like, so now some of you are asking if they knew why, if they knew that Marissa was filming, why didn't they arrest her for it? Well, think about that for a second. This is a very high profile case, right? All that would do is just add to the drama. If I'm the officer in charge there and somebody goes, and that dude that caught her with the camera goes, "Hey, she was filming, man. You know, should we pick her up?" I'd be like, "It's not worth it. It's not worth it." You know, that's all we need now is more press muddying this whole thing. That's all we need now is for her to make a big stink that we harassed her and we violated her freedom of the press, blah, 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 blah. I mean, so, but I mean, what's funny is one of them, I mean, if you're being filmed without consent, right, you'd probably have grounds for litigation. But again, they're probably just thinking it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. A, because it's just not worth it, period. But also B, because how does it help Summer? How does it help find Summer? These guys are focused on finding Summer. If they go and they arrest her, that's also publicly a really bad look, right? Like if they sue her, somebody goes, "Hey, I didn't give permission for her to sue, for her to film me. I didn't give any permission for that," and takes her to court, right? Well, then publicly people are going to go, "Well, I could see what his concerns are. He's more concerned about suing a YouTuber than he is finding Summer." It's not worth it. It's just plain not worth it. Now, this is fun to me too, right here. This is your Bullhorn person. This is your Bullhorn person real quick.
At some point, you know, he's talking
And she's
about
being interviewed by some, I mean, I mean, that's a very expensive camera. So I'm assuming it's some sort of professional news source, whether they're a credible news source or not, whether they're tabloid, I don't know. But I'm guessing they're tabloid based on how he conducts this interview, or he's just baiting her to talk and say things like any good interviewer would do. So now she's got the clout she's looking for. Bullhorn lady has more clout, and she's being officially interviewed by somebody here. And of course, Marissa has to film this and brag about it and say, "Look at what we're doing. We're getting things done down here," which this is literally not getting anything done towards finding Summer. Nothing.
deaths in North Korea. I'm sorry, but deaths in North Korea is not what I came from Florida to help with. I came to help find his daughter and find out what happened to Summer Wells.
Tell me about social media. Tell me about this I guess realm of investigations that is occurring. You know, and how does that help get these cases solved or
how?
Pressure?
Sure. So, you know, over the years, as social media has become a, you know, just an open market of, you know, free processes, free ideas, a lot of people you know, like web sleuths and stuff like that are very good at what they do. This has opened up almost like a niche market for crime solving because you have all these people doing all this investigation.
Now listen to that choice of words.
Law enforcement doesn't necessarily have to do. They can send that stuff over to them. Does it help? I absolutely believe it does. What I
Listen to
find
that choice of words.
Have to do. They can send these people doing all this investigative work that the law enforcement doesn't necessarily have to do. They can send
So sorry.
crime solving because you have all these people doing all. This has opened up almost like a niche market for crime solving because you have all these
Opened
people
up a
doing all
niche
this
market. Opened up a niche market. She's basically explaining her motive for what she's doing, why she's doing it.
investigative work that the law enforcement doesn't necessarily have to do. They can send that stuff over to them. Does it help?
That law enforcement doesn't have to do. Law enforcement has to do whatever it takes to solve these crimes. Within the boundaries of the law, of course, without violating civil rights. But they are required to do whatever it takes. So don't say it's, you know, it allows us to do what law enforcement doesn't have to, because she's implying we're helping them out. We're just giving them an extra hand. No, they don't want you to. They're not asking you to. Now, has it happened before? Sure. Of course it has. But how many times? How often? Like, seriously, statistically, what are the statistics in that? I'd be interested to find that out. As, you know, where it comes to web sleuths solving crimes versus professionally trained law enforcement investigators solving crimes. Why is she sitting there on somebody's camera acting like, well, we give law enforcement an advantage? You actually don't. Because the sheriff of Hawkins County made it very clear in several press conferences, social media is going to be the worst thing that happens to our investigation. It's got to stop. But it won't.
What I find most helpful when we're in, say, a county or a city is that people do open up to us. People that wouldn't normally open up to law enforcement because they're scared. You know, they may be doing illegal activities themselves and don't want to be involved. You know, having a normal person to speak to that they can relate to, that they can feel the vibe that we're here to help. They don't mind using us.
Nobody feels that vibe, man. Nobody feels that vibe.
And there's a lack of reporting in this case. We discussed it. The media, the general media, us is not covering it enough. We don't have national outlets here. You know, the second television station in town isn't covering it. Why?
Okay.
Like, what do you think?
That's actually okay. So I'm guessing this is a local news station. So the fact of the matter is, the truth of the matter is that local, now it's not getting national coverage. The Summer Wells case has not been getting nearly enough national news coverage, if any. That's a fact. And that bothers me. So I actually agree with what he's saying to a certain degree. What I don't agree with is he's saying that it's not getting any coverage, because every single time that I have since August, when I was talking about actually and trying to spread information on the case before the law enforcement basically said, we're pulling back our search and then we're just going to kind of take it from here. Ever since then, I just said, okay, as the way I'm going to cover this moving forward is if there's any developments. There weren't any developments, but every single time that I covered the case, I always kicked it off with a local news story talking about the case. I got all my developments from a local news station that was actually covering the case and trying to spread information. Like, It's ridiculous to me. And if that's the only local news station that's doing it and they glorify these people, I'm going to lose complete faith in them. I'm going to lose absolute complete faith in this news station.
I think when you see us and our response, I mean, is this?
Well, quite frankly, if we didn't do what we do on social media, you probably wouldn't be here right now. So, you know, we do bring spotlights to cases. We are effective in our means. There's been a time just recently, I was in Florida.
Okay, let's talk about what got
young black woman disappeared. And
let's talk about what got attention on her. Okay, her name says it. Bullhorn, what is her name? Bullhorn, Betty? Is it Betty? Bullhorn, I think. So let's talk about that. Like, she got attention for making an ass of herself in front of the laundry house and yelling insults and accusations at the laundries with a bullhorn. That's the only reason that she has any clout or recognition whatsoever. That's it. So it's not because of what you do on social media. You're not there because of your YouTube channel. You're there because you jumped on a bandwagon, traveled to Florida, did the same exact thing that Molly Golightly did, and made an ass of yourself in front of their house, where people went, "Oh my God, look at her. Look at what she's doing." Okay. and now she's acting like it's because we're web sleuths. We're web sleuths, and that's how we got to where we are. No, you're there where you are because you got loud and made a spectacle of yourself. Period.
Out there was no media anywhere. So I was able to get out on the streets. I was able to start tagging some media outlets and start calling them out. Next thing you know, you got Bay News 9 coming in, you got WFLA, because now they're looking embarrassed. You know, why are you in front of Gabby Petito's house nonstop? But here
No, it's not because they were feeling embarrassed or looking embarrassed. It's because they wanted to film you embarrassing yourself. That's all. Like, look at the circus. Check it out, people. Look at the circus behind what's going on here.
a young black woman, you know, a couple counties.
Oh, and I love this. This is my favorite right here. I love this.
A few counties over, and no media attention whatsoever. You can use that for your leverage, and any leverage I can use.
You see that? Look at. So what she does is calls out the media and mentions a quote unquote young black woman who went missing, right? So she mentions the young black woman who goes missing, but they know that that's the kind of thing that puts pressure on the media. They know by mentioning that, because the media is so sensitive, because everybody's so sensitive about race right now, that they can use that. And as soon as she mentions that, Molly's right on top of that with her. She's like, yeah. And then she gives her a thumbs up for mentioning a young missing black woman.
And no media attention whatsoever. You can use that
Here we
for
go.
your leverage, and any leverage.
Thumbs up.
I can
There
use,
you go.
Whether I like what's coming out of my mouth, if it's leverage that I can pull people in, I will use it.
I guess what you're criticized for is also
mind-blowing.
Strength. I mean, you can call out the media, the law enforcement, the community, the family. You have carte blanche, really. I mean, do you have that sense, and do you use that to empower?
We are very strategic in what we do.
No, you're not.
And so we may choose to deploy different strategies.
I mean, you kind of are,
such as law enforcement. We have done that in the past. You know,
you're not good at it.
I just want to make sure everybody knows that we really do. We love law enforcement. However, they're human, and I think this idea that our community feels that they're subhuman, that they don't make mistakes,
What?
is just wrong. They do make mistakes, and we.
So you're gonna pick up on the mistakes. This is what she's implying right now, and you're gonna hear me repeat a lot of the same words over and over again. So let me get this straight, Bullhorn. You're going to pick up on the mistakes. You're sitting here telling some local news station that you're going to pick up on the mistakes that trained professional law enforcement investigators are going to miss. And what she's about to do is use the whole, because apparently she's teamed up with the girl who found the water bottle, Gabby Petito's water bottle, that missed it. How is that really relevant to finding Gabby? How is that really relevant to finding Gabby? That's not what found Gabby. That's not what got Gabby found. What got Gabby found were the YouTubers. And yes, it was YouTubers, but the YouTubers who aren't clout chasing, by the way, weren't clout chasing, who were simply editing a video and happened to notice the van. They found the van, and that is what led law enforcement to Gabby. The water bottle, I mean, it's interesting to see on Twitter, sure, but it didn't solve anything. It didn't lead law enforcement to finding Gabby. Played no role in that, actually. It's like, oh, look at you. A YouTuber found a water bottle. Cool. Okay. I mean, that's interesting. I'm not going to take that away, but she's implying that that had something to do with solving the Gabby Petito situation.
Guide them in a way, not to take away from them. They do fabulous work.
That you just did take away from them.
We found a water bottle. Olivia found a water bottle while we were searching the woods in the Brian Laundrie case. It ended up being Gabby Petito's. For example, we were told at Kathleen Moore's that the immediate area had been searched. However, we were behind his house. We got on social media and said, this is where they need to search. Lo and behold, a day later, 2 doors down in that same area, Kathleen Moore's body was found. So,
so it's because of you that they searched that?
Does it right 100% all the time.
I find that extremely hard to believe.
It's incorrect. They do need some help. They can't do it all themselves.
Perfect.
Wow. And that's going to air. That's going to air somewhere. Yeah, absolutely delusional. Absolutely delusional.
Sorry, guys, for the delay. I didn't realize what time it was. He decided to go take a.
I don't know why that popped up. I guess I actually like Carolyn's channel, so I guess that popped up as like a suggested thing next. Hold on a second. Let me pull. I dropped the wrong thing here, so let me pull this up now. This is something that I found to be very effective. I found this particular footage. Now, I'm hearing a lot of negative things about this guy, and apparently he's like buddy with Don, and he's a YouTuber. But this footage is actually pretty interesting. Take a look at this footage.
This is going down to the road. You can't even see the house here. Here's the building. The previous trail I walked that goes down to the shed down at the bottom of the hill with the shooting house. Okay, right here, you're going to see 2 different points of view. My point of view in my video, and Allison's on the exact other side of this brush doing her point of view. And I'm going to let her tell you about the picture she took too.
So right now what you're looking at is two pictures that, like Kim said, that I took of him on the other side of the bushes while I'm standing in the driveway. The first picture, I promise you, came.
Now, I don't know the actual story. I don't really like to do YouTuber drama back and forth stuff with between other YouTubers, if I can help it. But somebody's asking if this is trespassing. This is not trespassing because this particular YouTuber supposedly is in support of Don and Candace, and he so since he's in support of Don and Candace, and they're supposedly at friends at this point, from what I understand, it's just rumors. I'm assuming that he's not trespassing, that he had permission to be on the property.
Him is on the other side of that brush, but you cannot see him whatsoever. The other picture that we're showing right now is a picture that you actually can see Cam, but I want you guys to see how long it takes you to find him. And I want you to think about if you were, let's just say, driving up that driveway, or if you were in that yard even, would you be able to see somebody? Would you pick them out on the other side of that brush? And you have to take into account that when Summer went missing, they were not even on this side of the house. They were behind the house at Grandma's camper.
Right. And I'm wearing bright blue in these pictures and on these videos. And you can barely see me. But you gauge it for yourself. We're not going to tell you either way. Here it is. Allison's on the other side of this brush taking a picture of me and videoing at the same time. The house is on the other side. This shows just how brushy, and you will not be seen. I'm not going with the dog trail anymore. I think it's somewhere else. Allison's on the other side.
Okay, guys. I'm videoing. We're down here. I'm at the driveway right now. Up here is the house. Right there is Summer's swing.
Right. So there's a house. Okay, this is interesting right here.
Trucks. The school bus is right through here. I want to show Camden is on the other side of those trees, right?
Okay.
On the other side of those bushes and everything.
Now you can see him.
You could not see him through all that vegetation.
Sorry.
Could not see him at all. Right there's the school bus. Somebody very easily, and there's also a path that we'll show you that goes straight from where this school bus is all the way back to the driveway, at the bottom of the driveway.
All right, guys, that's what we got to show you. We'll do a
So
live about this and talk more about it.
To me, that is
At the bottom of the
because
school bus, somebody very easily, and there's also a path is on the other side of
paths.
Those trees, or on the
These
other
clear
side of
paths that lead to the main
bushes
road
and everything. You could not see him through all that vegetation.
Sorry.
Could not see him at all. Right there's the school bus. Somebody very easily, and there's also a path that we'll show you that goes straight from where this school bus is all the way back to the driveway, at the bottom of the driveway.
All right, guys, that's what we got to show you. We'll do a live about this and talk more about it probably in tomorrow evening sometime.
So, see, that to me is credible content. They're not trying to solve the case. They're just saying people who are jumping to these conclusions, you understand? Like, and saying there's just no way, right? There's no way through all that brush, right? And there's a clip even, Leo, buddy, I love you too, man, but you gotta chill out. He's just gonna keep licking me, and I'm just gonna have to. But there's a clip where Molly's like showing the hill. There's a house at the top of the hill, and there's like, it's really brushy, and she's going, there's toys, there's kids' toys, and there's bicycles, and what is going on? Like, and saying that there's no way that somebody could have walked up that hill or walked down that hill, right? First of all, I spent a little time living in West Virginia as a kid, right? And it was very common to play on hills. Very, very common to play on hills. It was very common to play on hills. Why there would be bicycles there, I don't know. But it was very common to play in the woods, in the brush, right? Now, back then it was a lot more common, but today people usually keep a closer eye on their kids, but not so much in these rural areas. They're a little bit more laid back about their kids going and playing. Now, Candace and Don have both clearly said that they're like, no, don't you go wandering off and doing that, because it can be dangerous. But my parents would tell me the same thing. My friends' parents, when I was a kid, would tell me the same thing. And we would do it anyway. And you're saying, oh, there's just no way, the hill is too steep. All that brush actually helps climb the hill or get down the hill without falling. Because if you slip, you have a branch close by to grab onto. You have a very thin tree to be able to grab onto. You have them to use for leverage, to pull yourself up the hill. You have these things there to pull yourself up or keep you from falling down. So it's not that crazy to think that somebody could get up there or down that hill. It's not that crazy. Like, everybody's like, there's just no way. I don't want to hear that there's no way. There's no way for somebody who carries a Louis Vuitton purse that has a silver spoon in her mouth and goes by Big Juicy to do it. Likely. I mean, I'm not saying there's no way, but likely, because you would never try it. But when I was a kid, I tried it. My friends tried it. It was a fun thing to do. Parents would say, go play outside. So we did. Now, they would tell us not to do that. They would tell us not to do that. But I mean, who really listened to their parents? You know what I'm saying? Like, part of how we become who we are is making your own decisions. Not listening to your parents all the time. Doing things anyway. What do they know? What does mom know? Mom doesn't know anything about being a boy. You know what I'm saying? She's just worrying. You know what I mean? So at least that was, I just had a mom, I didn't have a dad. But if Don is saying we would never, ever we would always tell our kids, no, you cannot play down there. Right? I mean, who's to say that they didn't anyway? Is it questionable that they weren't watching their kids every second? I mean, yeah, okay. Something could happen, sure. But I mean, how many people grew up in woodsy areas and didn't explore? I know a kid who actually caught a copperhead in a shoebox. Kid was a year younger than me. And he was like, dude, check it out. Caught a copperhead snake in a shoebox. Because it was something to do. And I was like, dude, that thing will kill you. I was 8. Kid was 7. Like, are you kidding me right now? It happens. Dude, you know how poisonous copperheads are? You know how poisonous they are? Like, it's just something that kids did. And in areas like that, I'm sure it still happens. These people who have no idea how to even relate to anybody who lives in an area like that have no business talking about this, have no business, much less jumping to any conclusions. They just don't. Dude, yeah, we didn't have. Let's see. Karen Collins is speaking truth right here. I'm so glad cell phones didn't exist when I was growing up. Poor mom would be yelling out for us to come in for the night. We pretended not to hear so we could stay out for a few extra minutes. Yeah, we all did that. I did that. I absolutely did that. Like, I grew up in areas and during a time when, like, now we were too poor to have bicycles. Me and my brother didn't have bicycles when we were young kids. Like, we got them way later. Like, I didn't get a bicycle until I was like 12. And it was actually my foster parents who bought me a bicycle. And then I was able to take it to Florida when I went to live with my mom. But my brother didn't get a bicycle until he was like 13. You know, he got one about the same time I did, and he was like 13. But when we were little kids, we had to borrow our friends' bicycles, and our friends would leave their bicycles in the front yard so that pretty much any kid could come up and pick up the bicycle and ride it, and we always returned it. There were no cameras to see who would steal them. There was nothing like that. It's because we're in a small community and all we had was each other to hang out with. That was it. I feel bad not giving him a shout out. It's some dude, and some dude that Molly Golightly doesn't get along with. Apparently, she went to the police station that day actually to file an assault report against him. I think that's, at least that's just a rumor I heard. I don't know if that's actually true, so don't quote me on that. I don't actually know, but all I know is that's the only credible content that I've seen as far as between the two of them. That's the only credible content that I've seen. I mean, he actually got on the property and showed how someone could get, and based on dude's accent, I'm going to assume he kind of knows a little bit better. You know, like if he's saying I can get through this easy, there's a trail right there. Like, that's another thing. When you play in the woods, what are you doing? You're looking for a trail. Because it kind of sucks to walk through brush. You do it anyway, but you look for a trail and you explore. And your parents hated you doing it, but that's what you did. Cracking Cases. Okay, yeah, that's his name. Cracking Cases. I don't know the dude's name, but Cracking Cases is the channel name. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, Ellie Belly, for clearing that up. I'm mistaken. I apologize. The video is filmed by Cam and Allie. Nothing to do with Molly Golightly or Benny. Okay. So, all right. So that's just another person who actually has some permission there. I'm mistaken. I apologize. But that's why I have you guys. You know what? You know what? I'm feeling saucy. I'm feeling saucy. Why not? Talking about, I don't do panel no more. I'm going to open panel for this. I mean, it's only fair, right? It's only fair. If I'm calling out creators for doing really messed up stuff, then it's only fair that people who feel strongly about or against what I'm saying can call in and speak their mind. The link is in chat, people. Anybody can call in if they want. It'll be okay, Cherry. It'll be okay. Leo. Good boy. This is Leopold, guys. You usually only hear him yell at me. But today, I guess he wants to lay up here and hang out with me, which is nice. He's a good boy. I mean, why does that theory not make sense to people? That's what I'm saying. Like, didn't they go to like several public places after the watering hole, after the swimming hole? Right, Sherry Thomas? Is it so crazy that someone cased them and followed them? Is that such a crazy theory? Like, to me, that makes more sense that somebody would be that organized in order to pull off a crime where a little girl disappears without a trace and nobody can find her. To me, when it comes to a missing persons crime, that's the perfect crime. That is the perfect crime, right? So it makes a lot more sense to me that somebody who would plan this and be organized about it would be able to pull that off rather than somebody who gets drunk and gets on every YouTube panel that he possibly can and makes a fool of himself. You know, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not defending Don. I'm defending the fact that you can't call this guy somebody who's responsible for his daughter's disappearance without any hard evidence. You just can't. And I'm just saying, I'm not seeing anything that indicates that he's capable of that. I'm seeing things that indicate that he's capable of other things. Sure. I'm not going to sit there and act like this dude is an angel because I'm not. But to call somebody, you know, somebody who's capable of unaliving his own 5-year-old daughter and covering it up, somebody who's as sloppy as he is, who can't even get away with with getting a DUI, he's going to pull off the perfect crime. I just don't see it, man. All right, here we go.
Hello.
What's up?
I'm good. You?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm great. Jeez. So they haven't found this girl yet? That's just sad. Oh my God. I talk to my mother about it all the time, and she says she's never seen anything like this, even growing up as a kid herself. It's like she got to explore all the time, even though she herself is poor, and I grew up kind of poor, but I never could ride a bike. Last time I did, I fell off and almost had to go to the hospital. It wasn't fun. Never was. I liked go-karts more, but I never got to have one.
Fascinating.
I almost broke my arm.
I'm just giving you a hard time, man.
Oh, I know.
So I've got to address because Alex Erickson's in the house and her channel is fantastic and it's growing. And congratulations on 5,000 subs, Alex.
Congrats to her.
Yeah, she's great.
I've only got
she's great,
8.
and
well, actually 10.
But I gotta address her comment here because I really like her insight. She's saying, "See, I don't believe a stranger would abduct with them being so isolated. They would just go to a park. But what if someone had a grudge against Candace and they followed them home? I suppose that's a possibility for sure. That's even a possible, almost a likelihood, if not a likelihood. But let me address your first part of that comment there. You're saying I don't believe a stranger would abduct them.
Anybody could
abduct with them being so isolated. So a stranger, she doesn't believe a stranger would abduct with them being so isolated. Why not? Why doesn't it make it perfect if they followed them from one of the public places that they stopped? Right?
It would make sense. I mean,
that's
everybody
what I'm saying. So they follow them, they check out what's going on, and then they see, oh my God, this place is perfect. This place is perfect. I could hide out in the brush. I could just put my hand over her mouth and just keep her quiet and hide out in the brush until it's safe for me to get away. And, there's all kinds of different scenarios. People just don't want to, they're lacking no disrespect to you, Alex, but they're lacking that imagination, I don't even think I have the imagination to think that, or I don't think I have the imagination to even come up with all the scenarios that are possible as to what happened to Summer. But it's just so close-minded to me to just jump to the conclusion that Don is responsible, or it's, or even Candace. I don't know. I watched Alex's last video, and Alex was mentioning that the experts, what are they called? The body language experts that have a YouTube channel. They're actually pretty awesome.
They're pretty cool.
And Dr. Phil had them on, and they found her body language questionable, but not Don's.
No.
So I find that interesting, but I still
found it
think,
interesting how Candace just cried about cornbread mafia. It's like crazy.
But that's not conclusive. That's just not conclusive.
No,
you can't go by body language experts necessarily. Behavioral panel, the behavioral panel. Thank you, Alex. You can't go by body language experts. I mean, I'd go with a lie detector before I went with that, and lie detectors aren't even admissible in court.
Nope. So why do we even have them?
Right.
It's not admissible in court. Why do we have them?
I mean, well, they help with it. Well, they help in interrogation tactics. Like,
of course,
if you sit there and go, "Hey, your lie detector came like back where it's ugly," you can use that and be like, you got to tell us something because this thing, the needles was jumping all over the place, whatnot, blah blah blah. But if you're smart, you would have never even agreed to the lie detector in the first place because they can't make you take a lie detector. First of all, you have to agree to it. But people will usually agree to it because they're afraid it'll make them look guilty if they refuse it. So they refuse a lie detector. I don't care if I'm innocent, guilty of a crime. If I'm being interrogated and I'm thought of as a suspect, I'm like, give me a lawyer and take your lie detector and shove it. It's not happening.
Put it up your ass.
Now. Yeah, I want a lawyer right now.
Give me the lawyer. You can take the lie detector, put it up your ass. I don't care. I'm going to talk to my lawyer. I don't care if you think that makes me a suspect. I want to talk to my lawyer. This is ridiculous.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, Chris Watts. But see, the thing is Chris Watts is an idiot. He's a moron.
He's a big idiot.
Right. He's a big moron. And so, what do you think about Mr. Harlan? While I got you up here, what do you think about Duger getting convicted?
That is amazing.
Is it? I don't.
It's amazing that I think they sent him away. No, I knew it was going to happen. It's like, Jesus Christ. I used to watch that show he was on. I hated it all the time. Like, why in the hell are you putting your kids on TV? They don't need to be that.
I
They
never
don't need
saw
to be
that show
celebs.
once.
No.
First time I heard of this guy was these allegations. That's the first time I heard of this guy.
I mean, just looking at his picture, he looks like freak. So it's like, yeah, there you go. Jeez, I hear a cat. Who is it? Is it my cat? Oh, it is.
See, Alex is full of awesome information.
Jesus.
Guys, you need to subscribe to Alex Erickson. She's always got all the awesome info. So she's saying the sheriff of Hawkins County actually did recently confirm that they passed their lie detector tests. So, okay, right. But, you know, can't cherry pick. So I'm going with that too. That's not enough to make me assume that they're, I mean, I'm not going to assume that they're innocent based on that. I'm going to assume that they're innocent because it's just messed up to assume that they're guilty when there's nothing really to indicate that they're guilty other than, you know, behavioral panel experts.
Could Summer have wandered off? Perhaps. But I don't see that. I mean, yeah, kids do wander, but I don't see someone just wandering off and getting taken in the rural area.
Why
maybe, maybe not.
That sheriff ain't sus, man. He's all right. I like that sheriff.
I mean, he's pretty good. He's a lot better than the sheriff near me. He's not the best. He only ever goes out to serve eviction notices, from what I've heard. That's it. He's never been in anything too serious. And I don't think sheriffs are voted in, right? I always thought that. I thought they were voted in.
Yeah. Usually they're elected. Yeah.
I think that's how it is here in Missouri. I don't know. I haven't seen such a vote in a while, so it's like, gee, who knows? I don't think every state has it like that.
Hold on. So it says, go look in her channel now. Molly Golightly wants them to dig up Don's parents' grave.
Oh, hell no.
Wow.
Grave digging?
Right.
No.
Right. And just, yeah.
See, this is why cremation is also a thing, because you got freaks out there who do a thing called grave robbing.
She's like
necrophilia as well.
She's like the new Critical K with with half the brains. I swear to God, dude. Like with half the brains. Like, I'll give Critical K that. She was at least intelligent. Like
I thought who's that lady? KJ, I can't think of her name. Katie Joy. I've only ever watched one stream and I was like, no, I'm turning that off.
Yeah, I can't look at her like
Levi Page.
Like,
I can't look at him.
As soon as I see her, I'm like, is there a wallpaper drying channel that I can watch instead? Hold on, I got to address this comment right here because these are careless comments. Christy Daniel, you can't say stuff like that, man. That's what we're talking about here. You're saying David Dotson, the pastor from the church, is involved somehow, some way. How do you know that? You know what I mean? That's a dangerous thing to say. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
You don't know that. You don't know
None of
that.
us do. That's very dangerous. Especially with all these drama channels. They see that comment, they go, oh, gold, I can use that.
Like she's talking about digging up people's graves because she knows it's going to stir things up, and it's just ridiculous. Like,
I mean, if she tries to do it herself, that's a felony, I think.
Right.
I don't know.
Like, at least Critical K had enough like sense to not like go to somebody's town and start messing with them. You know what I mean? Like she would just pick at him on her channel, and and that was messed up to do that. But all of a sudden, this woman's some sort of hero because why? She actually went to Rogersville. Like, give me a break.
Right. I mean, there's Bullhorn Betty. Oh, good lord.
Who cares?
She's
Karen
dumb.
Collins. Who cares?
I think she's just a Karen. I see him all the time at work. And I got to do that today. But before that, I got to see a dentist. And then go to work.
Alex, okay. She's saying, I saw that Molly and Bullhorn Betty are suspicious of Don's mother's grave because of some kind of arrangement on top of it. Doesn't that sound to you like crazy soap opera madness?
Yes.
Like something you would only
lies.
Yeah, ridiculous, dude.
Lies.
Big Juicy's not cracking the case, guys. I'm sorry. It's not happening.
Nope.
It's not gonna happen.
Oh. I just look at the Dr. Phil thing with that episode and just go, was this a good idea? I don't think it was, but it's like if they wanted to be on there, I don't think they wanted to be on there. Candace and Don, but it's like Jesus.
Karens are not only about race.
No, it's got nothing to do with race. It could be anybody. Hell, males can be Karens too, but they got another name for that. I think it's Kent, Jim, and Clark. But Clark spelled with a K.
I call them
not
Todds.
a C, a K.
Yeah, I call male Karens
Todds. I've heard all sorts of names from male Karens, even from my store manager. I got a big list. It's these 6. Todd, Jim, Colt, Folan. What the hell is Folan? Mitch, and Mark. That was the store manager's male names for Karens. I was like, damn.
I mean, that's a lot because Karen's only got one name, you know? Like,
anytime I see
why is the male Karen so broad?
Oh, good lord. The male Karen won't threaten to call the manager, he'll threaten to beat you up.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, it didn't. It's no, the Karen thing, Sandy Beach, the Karen thing started with a typical haircut that they have and asking.
It started with the haircut.
Manager. People who complain. That's it. People who want to complain just to complain. That's what a Karen is. Like originally, that's what a Karen.
It's originally what it was, but even when my mother used to be a store manager for like Toys R Us, she never seen customers like that. She'd occasionally get a customer who's like, well, you're going to give me this for free and free. You're going to get me discounts. You're not going to get that. But the big prominent thing that I know for a fact plagues retail stores to say, especially Toys R Us the most, was somebody will take something off the shelf and they'll act like they bought it and they'll be like, oh, I would like to return this. But as soon as they ask for a receipt, they're like, well, I don't have a receipt.
Yeah.
So there's a red flag right there. They're trying to strong arm rob you.
Dude, listen, I can be a Karen. I can be a Karen.
I have.
It happens, you know, like if I'm just straight up being treated like crap, you know, like I got to call somebody out on it. I just can't.
I mean, it's good, you know, you hold that person accountable, but it's like at the same time, you cannot be a fucking asshole to some of these people. Yeah. I watched one lady at a restaurant quit because a customer wouldn't put on a mask. And it's like, lady, you don't have to beg her to put a mask on. She don't want to put one on.
COVID.
That's why you quit over that.
Whole new species of Karen. Yeah.
Like,
and they go either way, man. Like you got the Karens that are anti-maskers, and you got the Karens that are pro-maskers, and it's insane. Sandy Beach is over here like adamant about her point, man. Like, listen.
No,
listen, Sandy Beach, a Karen is somebody who complains. Okay,
of any
You're not
race.
going to go along and change it and make it about race. You're making it about race. Karen's not making it about race. You're making
it has nothing to do with race. I don't know what is with this lady.
Yeah,
nothing.
Like I'm not saying there's no racist Karens.
Oh, there is
videos of them all the time.
Saw one yesterday.
Sure. Sure. You know, I'm not saying that there's no such thing as a racist Karen. I'm just saying
She called me a cracker.
Yeah, Karen is
And I
just
was like,
somebody who wants
well,
to complain.
you're white as well, but you're just a person complaining about your fucking couch because you can't return it. It's way over the return period, and you're complaining to a manager on duty that you want the couch returned, even though I suspected she took an axe to it and started. And I'm like, well, we're not going to return it. We're not going to take it. You take it out of the store before she got crazy enough to where we had to call the cops. Almost. Sometimes you got to call the cops on these ladies. I've seen it. Well, I've never been there, but I've heard from a work friend who told me about one who they had to call the cops on because she would refuse to leave. And she tried to push a cart full of stuff out the doors. And she said, I'm not paying for this. No. I'm not going to pay for it. I'm just going to push it out the door. If you can't shut up and help me with this, I'm not doing it. We're not going to take that shit anymore. That's why most people are probably ending up quitting. And then we got this shortage of staff and workers in the U.S. besides wage. Good Lord.
Yeah, that's a whole other subject right there. I mean, we're living in a crazy world right now. We're living in a world right now. We're living in a world right now, in a country right now where a dude like Juicy
who got his
Smollett,
butthole looked at.
A dude like Juicy Smollett,
although that's mandatory,
fakes a racist, homophobic beating, right?
Punk ass.
Fakes it, gets convicted. And then the president of the United States tweets that it's an injustice, and so does the vice president of the United States. Like
he lied.
Yeah, right. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you tried to get somebody put in prison. What are you talking about? Like, it's
my mother since the days of Bill Clinton. She remembers when Bill Clinton was in office. Since the days of Bill Clinton, she's questioned every single president, and all the way up to Trump. She's questioned everything she's did. I have as well. I had no problem with him. It's just he did things some strange ways in my eyes. And then when I heard, well, he lost. Okay, you lost. But then all this crazy shit about voter fraud, I'm like, I'm just going to hide in my air raid bunker, close the door, lock it, double lock it, bolt it, and wait until the craziness goes down. But it's like, now it's like, gee, if I actually had one, I'd be hiding right now, because it's like all the crazy stuff Biden's wanting to do. It's like, gee, I'm surprised there hasn't been a civil war. Now, granted, that wouldn't happen, but it's like, gee, you think it would? Oh my God. Missing people, I've noticed. You've got 2 documentaries out there about missing people, and then, oh, someone has finally figured out how to open a door. My fat cat Pickles. He's finally figured out how to open a door.
Who was the person that wanted me to open up panel and now they didn't come up? Like, what is that? That's annoying. I mean, I'm glad you're here, Mr. Harlan, of course.
Yeah, but the person who wanted to be up here didn't want to be up here. Maybe they had a change of heart, or they're just too nervous, which is fine. Nervous. It's okay to be nervous.
Here we go. This is going to be fun.
Oh, no.
What's up, Wendy Rand?
Hi there.
Oh, no. What's up, Wendy Rand? Hi.
Hold on, let me turn it on.
I'm going to mute you for a second, Mr. Harlan. Go ahead.
Just wanted to say that I know things are like crazy in your country, but they're just as crazy now, Will, here in England.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that.
You know, but people, I'm afraid, and a lot of people that I know and that I'm friendly with, just don't think out of the box.
Well, the thing is like, people aren't, I don't know if I consider it thinking out of the box, or at least the climate of everything right now. I don't know if I consider everything being, on terms of thinking out or in the box. It's more like they're taking the box and flipping it inside out and completely reinventing the box as if the actual box doesn't exist, and trying to convince me that.
Well, I'm just saying people, believe so much bullshit from the mainstream media.
Yeah.
That, you try and talk to them and it's like, no,
Right.
At the moment now, Will, I'm waiting for a red cross to be painted on my door. Because I'm vaccinated, I don't wear masks, I don't give a shit.
Right. I mean, it's, my whole thing is it's not a question of, at least this is my opinion. It's not a question of, like, I think COVID is absolutely a thing. I've lost people. I've lost people to COVID, but I don't think personally. I don't believe that something with a 1% mortality rate, these should be the things that are being implemented right now. And I definitely don't believe there should be mandates. I think it sucks that because obviously this is the whole thing. Like, in America, there's no way that the citizens would stand for a government mandate for vaccination, right?
And that's why
there's no way. So what I believe they do is they give large corporations, most likely tax breaks, in order to pressure their employees and give them private mandates to get vaccinated. And now what do we have? So now it's like you're not going to go to jail if you don't get vaccinated. That's crazy. We can't take your freedom away, but we could basically manipulate it to where you can't make a living unless you get vaccinated.
Yeah, but
so that's a serious problem.
It's not like when, it's like now. Are you there?
I'm listening. Yeah.
I mean, this has been going on for 18 months now, but to try and coerce, bribe, and whatever you want to say about, to get people to get a frigging vaccination, there's something wrong there.
Right. No, I agree with you. I mean, you don't get to say my body, my choice about abortion and then say no.
Exactly. Thank you.
There needs to be a mandate for vaccination. Like, no, because it's still my body and my choice. It's and I'm pro-choice. I'm pro-choice, but I'm pro-choice and I'm pro-choice in the truest sense.
I know you are. I've watched you for 2 years now.
Yeah, I'm pro-choice in the truest sense. I'm saying, yeah, I mean, it's my body, my choice. It's your body, it's your choice. Do what nobody should force anything to happen to your body at all, ever, about anything.
Yeah, but that's not the point, Will. It's the point. The point is that the government of the Western world are trying to enforce that on people. If not, we're going to take your freedoms away.
Right. See, and and this is where, and I agree with you having your opinion, Sherry Thomas. Sherry Thomas is saying, I'm pro-vaccination, but I don't agree with the mandatory vaccination and losing your job. Sure. Okay. But see, I take it a step further, because what happens is it makes me not want to get vaccinated. By you forcing my hand in any way, shape, or form makes me go against it.
More anti.
You know what I mean? So
I know exactly what you mean. It's like, well, fuck
yeah.
you.
So I'm not right. So I'm not saying I'm not saying you should be anti-vaccination, Sherry Thomas. I respect your opinion and your beliefs, of course. I'm saying, why doesn't it bother us as Americans that this is being forced on us? You know what I mean? Why isn't our freedom the most important thing to the majority of us? You know,
Well,
but
that's
somehow
what
we've all been manipulated to believe that this somehow
that's what the country was founded on, complete
Right.
freedom, especially for people who were running away from terror.
Yeah, I'd have an accent just like yours if it wasn't for
Yeah,
if it wasn't for our belief in freedom. Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's just the whole thing is it bothers me that us as a it bothers me that us as a country, as a majority of a country, don't see something terribly wrong with something with a 1% mortality rate being you know, used as a way to force us into something.
They're using it as a weapon. They're trying to frighten people. They're trying to divide people.
And that just so I'm just surprised. I'm surprised that people don't see that and go, you know what? This is all way too shady. I'm not sticking nothing in my body based on what's happening. Based on what I'm seeing, I'm not sticking nothing in my body. You're making me do this.
Drag me out of my house and pin me down and make me have it. No, that sounds rude. No, you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, but that's actually a valid point. Like, you're making a joke, but it's actually a very valid point, because it should be that way with anything. That's the reason why SA is wrong, because you're forcing somebody to do something that they don't want to do. That's the reason why it's punishable by prison time. You know, there's something deeply wrong with that. So why does that only apply to sex?
That's what I mean.
Why doesn't that apply to everything?
You know, I'm quite a lot older. Well, not a lot older than you, but I've got a son of your age. I had him when I was 16, and you know, going back to your earlier point, I used to let my son free. He used to play freely out in the real world, inverted commas, and learn about stuff, you know, dealing with stuff.
Yeah, it's really funny, man. I mean, it might just be because of the demographic that I attract, but most people in my chat agree. You know, and so that's the majority that I see anyway. You know, that's the majority that I see. And so why are people putting up with it on such a mass level?
I don't know. Well, you know, you tell me. My best friend of 55 years, I'm 66 now, has gone along with the whole government spiel.
Yeah,
you know, and I thought, for Christ's sake, don't you ever think, you know, and I can't talk about it anymore. I can't talk about it to any of my friends, how I feel about how we're being manipulated.
Right. You know, I mean, you got this, you know, it's this generation, man. It's crazy. That's probably why nobody in my chat, because my demographic is mostly, you know, people in their 40s, 50s, you know, late 30s.
Women.
The majority. Yeah, but women in women within that age group, fairness, in all fairness. But it's mostly you know, young people, man, who are raised, you know, they're now old enough to vote, and they're raised by parents who wanted to be their best friends, you know, instead of actually parenting them, you know, and teaching them independence, and they wanted to coddle them, and they're just like, I want to be you know, and that is possibly a result of the previous generation having parents that are just like, man, just go do something. Get out of here. You know?
Yeah, that's what I used to say to my son, Will. And I had him when I was 16. He's now 50 years old. But he thinks the same way I do. This is bullshit.
Right. Well, I mean,
You
it
know,
happens.
but
I mean,
at least he
but
grew
you're
up
the exception to the
80.
rule, Wendy. You're the exception to the rule. So, you know, what I'm thinking is it's, but there's no doubt to me that it is this generation, and it's this generation because they've been coddled. And you know, I mean, look at this kid who's this. I mean, first of all, how often do school shootings did they happen before this generation? Did they? How often did they happen? How often did they happen in the 70s, 80s, 90s? They never happened. You know what I mean? So these school shootings things just they kept happening more and more as much as this generation got softer and softer and softer. And so now, you know, now it's to a point to where parents, this last school shooting, the parents were charged. They were charged because they actually, from what I understand, I haven't looked too deeply into it, but from what I understand, they actually provided the kid with the weapons. They ignored the fact that he was crying out for help and saying he was going to commit suicide and do all these things. You know,
well, I'm sorry, but some people, some parents have no perception whatsoever, friggin' absolutely, about their own kids.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, if my son was here now, he'd say, "Will,
I think the kids are playing them.
Me up to the police station."
I think the kids are playing their parents and playing off the fact that their parents are so soft and want to be, you know, their kid's best friend. Like, oh, don't be mad at me. You know what, Mom?
If you have a kid, which
I don't know,
can expect
Mom.
to have at 16,
I don't know about that.
Be a freaking parent.
Right, exactly.
It's the right from wrong.
Yeah, like I'm not here to be your friend. Like
that's right.
I'm here to make life tough for you because the world, when you get out there on your own, and you will, because you're not living here forever, is gonna get a lot tougher. It's gonna get a lot tougher.
18 and managed very
That
nicely.
That used to be the cornerstone of parenting, and it's not that even close anymore. It's the opposite.
Yeah, but I managed that, Will, on my own. I thought this boy is going to learn about life and that there's consequences.
Oh man, I kept Mr. Harlan muted. I want him to be able to chime in. I'm sorry, man. I forgot. I got
there's something sensible this time. Sorry.
Dude, nah, he's all right, man. That's Mr. Harlan, dude.
Well, that's all right. I mean, my parents pretty much told me how to defend myself, and I've got 2 large ass fucking police grade batons from a military surplus store, and it's like, Jesus. Even though I can't carry the giant riot stick on me, I could certainly carry an extendable one to and from work. And if I were to walk somewhere, someone comes up to me, I'm a big 6'5" kid, although I'm probably supposed to be taller, had it not been for mild scoliosis and then the onset of lumbar radiculopathy, which later led to sciatica. And then not being able to move for almost a week and a half without the assistance of a cane. And I'm 19 years old.
I'm not being rude now, but can you get to the point? You're rambling.
But man, he's got his own way of making his point. Let that man make his point.
Yeah.
Okay, but just remember that you're in America where things are completely different, and I'm in England.
Yeah, but but we're speaking in generalities here, Wendy. It's not just, you know, it's not about where you're at or where we're at. You know, we're just.
I apologize, Mr. Harlan. Carry on.
Yeah.
I've seen enough school shootings from since I was 6 to know they're not going to do anything. The government has done nothing, and now they're finally going to charge these parents of this most recent one. And now it's like, well, you don't see this in other countries, but here in America, we see it all the time. And it seems as though people have become desensitized to it, and I certainly think so.
Kind of immune to it.
Of
but
course.
Here, the last one we had, the only one we had was in Scotland, you know, and that was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, that doesn't even
So,
happen
like
over there,
you,
does
you,
it?
Mr.
It doesn't even
Harlan,
happen
we're
over
used
there.
to it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. It doesn't even happen over there. And people blame technology, but you guys have the same
I
technology
don't
over
blame
there as we have here,
technology.
Yeah, but 30 years
right?
ago, we didn't have technology.
No, but
No.
I'm saying nowadays, you're saying the school shootings don't even happen over there, you're saying, right, Wendy?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so the school shootings don't happen, and people want to blame technology, and people want to blame kids being lazy and whatnot because of the technology. But you have the same
No,
technology over there.
I
What's the
feel
difference?
personally that it's
What is the
more
difference over there than here? Why don't the school shootings take place over there, and why do they take place here?
Stabbings, Jesus.
well, we get in
Well,
London
okay. Well,
and
first
places
of all,
like that. There's
guns
a lot
are
of
legal.
stabbings, but
Aren't guns
I think
illegal
the
there?
difference is we don't have guns here.
You don't have guns there, right? Okay. But do you damn, I needed her to, did she just like leave me hanging? And now everybody who's anti-gun is going to be like, see, I was just about to make like a great point. So now
I
everybody
thought she
who's
was rude.
anti-gun is going to be like, see, yeah, she was.
I have nothing wrong with guns. If if I was her age, we'd have a nice, good old style, old fashioned wrestling fight. If I was her age, Jesus. I mean, like, really? Rambling? I still get to the fucking point.
You can't wrestle.
No, I'm not going to go there.
She's an older woman. Man.
If I was her age,
unless unless she like pays you for it, that's you can't do that, man.
No, I'd probably die in the ring.
But,
People are like, oh! And then that'd be it.
Yeah.
Why not bayonets?
I don't know what's going on in this country, man. It's crazy, dude.
I could probably be old enough in Missouri to own a gun, and shit, I could probably have a fucking bayonet on the thing. Good lord! And they're not gonna say anything about the bayonet. I can tell you that. Oh, good lord! But it's like, I talked to my sister. She goes to the school I went to that I graduated from, and I asked her, "Did you guys have a meeting in AIP about the school shooting?" She said no. When the Parkland school shooting had happened during my sophomore year, we had a fucking meeting in AIP about what to do in a school shooting. We had one. And we had training. We had a safety security committee. Every single school had a safety security representative. Now, for the elementary schools, because those kids are too young.
Yeah, I actually recently became in contact again. Actually, not recently. It's actually been a few years. But like we were kids together in that children's center that I lived in, and you know, social media made it really easy to connect with people.
Oh
again.
yeah,
And
I'm still trying to find most of my friends.
he became a cop who worked in a school. You know, that's what he was doing when I was talking to him last. He was a cop working.
I knew most of the cops, and I knew the one from high school, and he was the coolest dude ever. And he said to me, "No matter what, I'm going to keep you all safe." And I was like, that just brought the reassurance back to me. And by the time I graduated, granted, I never got to have a full school year thanks to COVID. But it's like at the same time, virtual learning, it didn't do shit for me. I graduated with a C because it's like, I thought it was stupid. I did most of the work, but apparently you get graded when the virtual learning thing was around. You had to be graded also by attending the virtual meetings. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like I ever wanted to do that. So that's why I ended up with a C, even though most of the time I got an A+ in history class and not too much in science or math. I was never the best with math. Multiplication drove me up a wall. But it's like, I don't think school officials care anymore.
I had a teacher that was just adamant about multiplication and fractions.
We allow everything in Missouri. I fucking hate it.
He was actually in Missouri. His name was Mr. Dew, right? His name was Mr. Dew. Yeah, DEW. He was this dude. He had like the slicked back Jerry curl. Like it was long, but it was slicked back, right? and he wore these glasses, and he would make us like do these like races for a math problem. He'd be like 1 1/4 times 4, make us, do it on the chalkboard, like competitive. And he'd be teaching math, but I was just always not paying attention. I was never a good student. And he would get really annoyed that if he caught me like spacing out, he would call me a space cadet, and he would be and he would kick me out of his class like all the time. He'd make me like take my desk and sit outside the classroom, and he would be like he would call me by my last name and be like, "Hey, get out." As soon as he saw me like spaced out, he would be like, "Hey, get out."
That was funny. That's funny.
And it would make the class laugh, and I'd be humiliated, and it's the whole reason I'm who I am today. I'm just kidding. He was actually an all right guy. Everybody loved him. He just didn't like when people didn't pay attention in his class.
No,
I know that now.
During my senior year, I had a teacher who knew karate and taekwondo. And she was crazy enough to say, if there's a fight outside this classroom, I'm going to go out there and break it up. I got to see her do it at least once because I saw 2 football players fighting, and the other guy body slammed the other, and she ran out there and broke it up. But she said anyone my height, she was never going to go out there. And she said she would keep us safe during a school shooting. And I'm like, I believed it. But sadly, I don't see it. Even when I spoke on the safety committee, which ended during my junior year, they said student council can handle it. I don't fucking trust student council on anything. They only care about certain things. And it's like, at the same time, why the hell are you going to trust them?
They cared about
they care
the
about prom,
and the dance.
winter dances, yearbooks. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
hey, man,
all.
Listen, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna.
I gotta get a dentist appointment in and then work. I'll probably see a Karen today. So it's like, let's see what the store manager has a name for this time. I want to see it. But you all have a good day.
All right, man. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime I can do it.
All right.
Bring me an interview. Who knows? But you all have a good day.
See you later, man. So the good news is Duger was convicted. I mean, it sucks that he only gets 20 years for stuff like that, but he hasn't even been sentenced yet, hopefully. And wasn't there? Yeah, there was other things I guess I already talked about the school shooter guy. So, but that's good news on that end that Duger has been convicted. And no, karate won't stop a gunshot. You're right. But yeah, I've been on here way too long to get into a whole gun conversation. So I'm not doing that this time, but I will. I don't care. Wendy Wren. Nah, I don't know what happened. You dropped off. I didn't boot you, I promise. But I am going to end this because I got dogs to walk and I got a gym to go to, and but I had a great time with you guys. I appreciate you guys sticking around. I love you very much, and we will do this again very, very soon, my friends.